for this point. We're also stretching into the outer line of the shins. This is really good for people who run and get shin splints, that kind of thing. Awesome, really easy, but people like the more dynamic strength is kind of like TRX and Pilates, but we can do it all with the swing. Okay, when you're ready, come to neutral. So now we're going to do the same exercise where we just use our arms to lift our torso, but now we're going to do a little tricep curl at the same time. So inhale, press, 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 straighten the arms as you come up. Make it really hard. If you come up fast, you know, use your back. Good. At the top, pause, and then exhale, lower down, nice and slow and controlled. Drop your chest at the bottom. When you pause at the bottom, you relax. And then inhale again. Press, 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 press. There you go. You can really feel how that will really gain a lot of strength and control in the arms doing this. Hang at the bottom. Inhale, press, 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 press. Come all the way up. So now we're going to come to stand. Heel toe the feet together. I'm going to give you a little demo of why that upper body strength becomes really important when we get into. Oh yeah, when we get into the Superfly. I have some extra towels if you need it. Get some water, whatever you need to do. Give you a little break. So this is something that we learn in the intermediate training, but you can come into inversions with the swing around the waist, and then I'm going to use the leg loops in my hands, and then I'm going to press all the way up. Right? So we're not going to necessarily do this today, although we could practice some Superfly at the end. But if I don't have that upper body strength, I'm not going to be able to fully extend because I can't use my back in this position, right? So that's why we learn how to do that. Yep, we learn how to do that with our feet on the ground, especially beginners. And then by the end of the class, I tell them that you're going to be able to do some acrobatics, and they're like, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Right now, if we step people through how to stack the bones, and that's why we want a nice long access along the spine when we do it, because if it's all collapsed when we get up like that, we're not going to be able to hold that full length of the spine. Most people are like little accordions and they tend to collapse. So we want to get that nice long plank body in the different positions. Okay? So by the end of the workshop, we'll hop into Superfly, but I just wanted to give you a little teaser of why that's so important and what is the difference between, I mean, you guys could feel how challenging that was, right?
Absolutely.
You do, but most people don't use this part of the arm at all, right? Unless they've done some acrobatic and aerial work. Okay, so we're here, right? So we did our last one, and we came up, just showing you a little beginner sequence I do for class. And then I'm gonna take both hands and press down strongly. So I straighten the arms. And for most people, we might want to lower that for you now, but for most people, this will be right at the legs, insertion point to the hips. So right at the hip flexors, right? So we're going to come into a forward fold. Keep your feet on the ground for this. Make sure we get the thumbs out. Sometimes they get stuck in there. So in our forward fold, the balls of the feet are grounded down, the heels are pulling down, but they're not touching. So we're draping all of our weight forward. So pull your weight forward towards me. Yeah, just let it hang. Now this is a lot of pressure on the hip flexors, so now we're no longer bugging the underarms. We're going through the other sensitive part of the body. But this is also, these two intersections is where all the lymphatics start to bundle. So again, the congestion that happens in the body is because the lymph has gotten really stuck and stagnant, and this will open it up. Okay, so in this position, let's go ahead and clasp our hands behind our neck. Lengthen through the cervical spine, pull straight down. And just let your body sway a little bit from side to side. Oof, let it go good. I'm going to bring the swing down for you so it's a little bit easier.
I think I got a better sweet spot.
Did you find the sweet spot?
Yeah.
Okay, so lean forward all the way because your heels shouldn't be touching the ground if you have the sweet spot.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay, good. All of your weight is draping straight down. Can you drop your head a little bit more? There you go. You can clasp your hands behind your head, behind your neck, but we're folding, instead of folding at the waist, which is what most people do, we're learning how to fold at the hip flexors. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an adjustment. Stay here, stay there. That looks great, Amy. Can you feel the difference? Like your head is almost touching the ground, which we don't normally get that far in a yoga class, right? So keep leaning forward a little bit more. There you go. Your hamstrings are tight, huh? Yeah. This will really help. There you go. So now all of your weight is hanging, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go in the same direction as you guys, so I can keep an eye on you. It's just a little bit easier than trying to stay backwards too. That's okay. Okay, so we're swaying it out here. We bring our hands back down to the ground. So now we're going to walk ourselves into a down dog. So go ahead and keep your feet on the mat. Bring your hands forward onto the floor. And now you're in a V shape in the body, right? So if you do decide you want to try it with the swing a little bit lower, Scarlett, it's no problem. Just let me know. We'll adjust there.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, we're pushing our hands down really strongly. They're shoulder distance as if we're in a down dog and our life depended on it, right? But we can let our arms come out wide like wings. Go ahead and lift your arms. Bring them out wide, and there's like literally no weight. Keep the V shape in the body. So lift your chest down. Yeah. Good. And now we're going to plant our hands back down, and we're going to pretend like we're pushing strongly to always keep like a nice foundation, even though we're floating and flying. It's really important to keep that anchor. So our anchor is at the hip flexors, right? That's where the swing is hooking, and our anchor is also in our hands. Really good, guys. So play a little bit in the down dog. Notice that you can do loop-de-loops, infinity symbols, figure eights, whatever. You have a lot more play in the swing now, right? You can pull yourself forward and push yourself back, do semicircles. So it totally changes the down dog into more of what I call the happy dog. It's kind of like you're wagging your tail. Right? A lot more tail wagging going on in this dog. Really good, guys. Okay. So again, the names and sequences are supposed to be silly and funny and all that. So now we're going to get into the cat's meow. So the cat's meow is the down dog and the cat-cow together. You get your cat's meow. Okay, so hands are shoulder distance. We're going to pull our chest forward, so shoulders come right over the wrists. We're going to inhale, arch, and look up. So more so than we normally do in a down dog, because it's the cat's meow, right? So this would be the cow version. And then we're going to exhale, we're going to press back, and we're going to look at our navel. So curl in. Yeah, round your back even more than you would do in a normal dog. Good. See if you're trying to see your belly button. And now inhale, pull your shoulders forward over your wrists and arch and open. Stretch the belly. And then exhale, round in. Look at the navel. Good. Inhaling up and arch. Exhale, round and in. Good. One more time. Inhale, arch and open. So let's add a leg here. We're going to add the one-legged down dog. So inhale, left leg lifts, arch. Exhale, round, knee to nose. Pull it in. So this is how we can make our down dog fun again, right? I don't know how long you've been doing yoga, but you get a little stiff in some of these poses. Exhale, round again. Just follow your breath, right? Inhale, open and arch. Exhale, squeeze and round. Pull your knee to nose. Good. Inhaling, lift. Exhale, squeeze. Good. Let's just go ahead and plant that foot back down to the ground. Wag your tail a little bit. Happy dog. Nice. You can walk your feet back, Scarlett, so you're more in a V shape. There you go. Really good. And keep your arms pressing straight. So straight arms. You can walk your hands forward a little bit more too if you're okay with it. Cool. Yeah, so swag it out. So why don't I have you come up so I can lower your swing, which you'll have a totally different experience. So you can try
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And of course, if the swing is up high, it doesn't matter too much. It's just a little bit more of an advanced pose then. Okay. And we're going to come into some inversions. So cool. Perfect. We're going to come into our little floating leaf next. Do that. Yeah. So one thing about this place is I keep widening these, so you're good, but if you ever feel like it's getting a little narrow, because I like to keep them about 3 feet wide, okay. I just slide them back over. Since just hang these up, they will slide a little bit, which is totally fine. Not the end of the world. Just keep opening. Okay, let's try it again. So from our down dog, we're gonna venture into an upside down dog, but we have to do second side, right? So one-legged cat's meows. So inhale, pull forward, lift the right leg up and arch. Exhale, knee to nose. So again, this is all yoga translations. Inhale, up, lift. So getting people familiar with the swing, exhale, squeeze, by doing some things they might be familiar with, but then adding something that they haven't done before. So they build some relationship and trust to the swing, being able to increase the capacity for them to go further in their yoga practice. Exhale, squeeze. Just do 2 more at your own pace and in your own rhythm. Notice when you lift your leg, I pull my leg slightly out to the side. If you bring it straight up, you just start to lose your anchor a little bit. So when I inhale, lift, I just bring it slightly to the side. So just start out with that and feeling the difference between bringing it straight up and then pulling it out. Inhaling, and then exhale, lower it down. You can shake your tail feathers a little bit. Just play in the space. Just notice how different it is to be able to sway and swagger a little bit more than normal. So now we're going to try our upside down dogs. We're going to inhale, pull forward so the shoulders are over the wrists. So I make a big distinction between the inside of the swing and the outside of the swing. So we always hook outside in every single pose, outside in. So that's going to be a big deal for people when you're trying to teach them. So let's all start with the same side. Hook the left foot outside in, but keep the knee bent. Just keep the leg loop out of the way. So keep the knee bent, so foot is down by the glutes. Pull the foot down. Yeah, good job, ladies, good. Okay, so one-legged down dog, right? So you can press your heart back towards your knees and get a big stretch here. We're not gonna straighten the leg yet. We're gonna do another sequence. We'll actually do it today. We'll do the whole black swan sequence because we can. Because it's just us. So we're gonna pull ourselves forward again, inhale, arch, second side, right foot hooks. Keep the foot down close to glutes. So now we're in our upside down dog. We can press our chests down towards the ground, arms stay straight. Really good. Now inhale, pull forward, I call it an up dog. It's kind of like handstand arms, right? So stretch the belly, look up, and then exhale, press the chest down towards the ground. Go nice and slow because it is a big stretch on the shoulders. Inhale, pull forward, up. Exhale, down. So we go from upside down dog to up dog with our feet up. Beautiful. One last time, exhale, down dog. This time you're going to bend your elbows. So I call it a cobra pose if straight arms is too uncomfortable. So I'm resting my forehead on the ground and the elbows are bent. It's much more of a relaxed position, but we still have the upside down dog legs. Okay? And now from this position, we're going to come into a headstand, right? So pretty easy to come into a headstand from here. We're just going to walk our arms in. So elbows are going to be shoulder distance. Hands are going to clasp behind the head. And voila, headstand. Pretty easy, right? Now there's a couple different variations we can do with our legs here. It's so nice to be able to come into a supported headstand and stay for like 5 minutes and get all the benefits from the king of all postures without straining ourselves. So we're just going to bend our knees and start to pull them into the chest so we can unhook the feet, squeeze the knees together, and the knees come down close to the chest. Yeah, there you go. So we're balancing on the hip flexors. Now notice when we pull the knees into the chest, there's less weight on the top of the head. This tends to be really good for more beginner level people who don't like that feeling of pressure on the crown chakra. So pull your elbows in a little bit closer. There you go. Really nice. Good. So we can actually extend the legs out in front of us, coming through our folded leaf. Always keep the feet about hip distance or lower. That's really good. Okay. And now we're going to bend the knees and hook them again. So we're going to hook the outside in part of the swing. And then for a more advanced version, we can start to pull our feet towards our head. So we actually let our knees hook, right? And our feet come back. Almost like we're going to come into a scorpion, but we're not coming that far. Now this is more advanced because you can feel, for some people, they can lose their anchor, right? You still have to keep the legs hooked. And if they're a beginner, they could just slide out. Although if you just bend your knees, let's all bend our knees back into our chest, unhook the feet, then we can regain our anchor. So just bend the knees into the chest, Scarlets. You can release the feet.
Oh.
Yeah, bring your knees to your chest, not up, down.